I'm currently testing the microphone I got. This is the Toner microphone TC30, and this is the only microphone I have access to at the moment. I would be testing others. However, the work I have where I tested a microphone is at my college/university, and I have no access to it due to there being a lockdown. So I have access to this microphone. It's going to do. I would try the microphone on my laptop, but at the moment it's currently not working, which is a problem. But that's going to be okay because this audio sounds good in general and I'll be able to work with that. So I want to test a few things. So currently I want to see how I can edit out my ums and stuff. So I'm going to say stuff and I'm just going to put a lot of ums in there, and then in a moment I'm going to edit it out so it sounds natural, and with that we'll find out how well that is, and it should be okay, hopefully. So after I've done that, I've just edited out. I'm going to be testing how I could do an introduction. Usually there is a lot of music and introductions, and because my audience is 18 to 25-year-olds, so younger people, I need it to be relevant. So I'm going to be including features of pop music, which is relevant to my audience. So I'm going to do an introduction. I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to do it 2 times. One time is going to be the unedited version, and the other time will be the edited version. So hello, my name is Anna Lewis and you are listening to the Content Creators Podcast. And I'm going to do it again. Hello, my name is Anna Lewis. I am your host, and today you're listening to the Content Creators Podcast. So what I did there was I added in a music that was upbeat and everything, and I had a bit of an introduction just to roll it in. And then what I did is added the audio, but I put it in the music in silently, so it fades to a silence so you can hear me speaking. And then once I said my segment, I then faded it back up to the loud music. So now I've edited it like that. I've added the music just so it's a nice feeling. So when you first click on the podcast, you hear the music and it sounds good, and it keeps the audience's attention. I now just want to work on the way I speak. So for doing that, I think I need to speak more enthusiastically. So when I do the introduction, so it is more enthusiastic, like, hello, my name is Anna Lewis. You are listening to the Content Creators Podcast. So it has like a higher tone and will make it interesting. I also need to make sure I have a list of things I'm going to talk about. So I know I'm going to be talking about if you can be successful with YouTube in 2021, and also the new monetization changes to YouTube's policy, and Mr. Beast doing YouTube Rewind. So I already have a rough idea on the subjects and I'm not going to have a problem talking about it, but I just need to have a list to know what I am talking about, and so I don't run out of subjects. I've also got a few things I'm going to add. I've also got some vox pops which I'm going to use and include, which I'll include here. I'm going to be using this voice recording to ask people their opinions on whether they think it's possible to start a YouTube channel in 2021 and be successful. So I'm going to ask some questions like, do you think it's possible to start a YouTube channel in 2021 and be successful? And then I'm going to get their response, and I'm going to also ask them why they think that, so they can elaborate on their opinions, and hopefully that will be all good. Because of the coronavirus pandemic and also lockdown, I wasn't able to go out and ask questions on the street to people. So I had to reach out to others and send them a voice recorded message talking to them, asking them the questions, and then I recorded those, or I saved those messages, and I'm going to include it in my podcast. I'm going to send an example of someone who I'm going to contact, and just so you get an idea of what it's going to be like.
My name is Chris. I'm recording this from my iPhone, and this is what I'll be using to answer the question for Anna's podcast.
That's just an example of what it'll sound like in the podcast when I input, or when I put the Vox Pops in. So I'm going to be asking favours from people to answer my question so I can include it. And when I record it, I'm going to be using my iPhone 11, and I think that's going to work out all okay. As my podcast is going to be a very informational one, I'm going to be keeping it quite simple in terms of I don't really want to be adding loads of sound effects, even though this will demonstrate my ability to be able to do it. I don't really want to, because one, I don't think it's going to sound right just having random sound effects when it won't really apply to the topic. So what I'm going to do when there's like pauses and stuff, I'm going to add music just so it has a bit of an atmosphere to the podcast and it's just not voices.